Money. So in my second part of what you need to talk to your partner about before getting married is money. You have to talk about money. It's like one of the top reasons marriages end in divorce. It's a point of contention even in casual conversations. You know, like if you go to a party or something, you don't talk about your finances, right? You don't, and the reason why is because money is associated with power, with status, with security, with freedom, with autonomy. And these things like power, status, these things can easily pinch our values. So money is emotional. And money has shaped a lot of our childhoods growing up. Whether you grew up with humble surroundings or you grew up with privilege. And money really contributes to the values and beliefs and priorities that we have as adults. I mean, just think of it. Like, how do you perceive someone who makes less than you? How do you perceive them if they make more than you? And thinking about yourself, depending on how you value money, how do you want to be perceived? Do you care about status? Do you care about power? Do you care about what others think of you, how much you make, how little you make? And depending on your relationship, who earns more, who earns less, how does that affect your financial decisions that you're going to make together when you're married? In a couple, there might be a spender, there might be a saver. Which one are you? And having those honest conversations is incredibly important. And of course, invest in the future or enjoy life in the present. This touches on your values as a couple. Does someone like more possessions, buying things to give them joy, or are they more into vacations and traveling experiences? But what about lending money, to your friends and family? Where do you stand on that? I mean, is there like kind of a limit of how much you would lend to your friends and family, and why? And if you don't believe in that at all, why do you not believe in it? Or if there is a limit, why do you think it's $500 or $5,000, or the limit is unlimited? Tipping etiquette, right? Some people tip more, some people don't tip. So there's a lot of things that are associated with money. Money is emotional. I think it's really important to talk about your current debt, and it could be credit cards, lines of credit, student loans, medical bills, tax debt, money that has been owed to your friends or family, maybe it's a gambling debt, mortgages, failed business debts that you have, unpaid parking tickets, right? So it's like, I really recommend you put everything on the table before you get married, because I know for a lot of people, it's a very vulnerable thing to do, because there's a fear that your partner is going to criticize you. And, someone with a ton of debt can be perceived as irresponsible and careless, lacking discipline and self-control. And so, but at the same time, even though it's a vulnerable process to both go through, it can also uncover some really bad habits that someone may want to hide. Maybe they have uncontrolled retail therapy, or they have a gambling addiction, or an online gaming debt you had no idea about. Or if it's you the one who has those secrets, if you really love and want to marry someone, it's important that you put your cards on the table so that they have full transparency of who you are. It's daunting, but think of it like ripping off a Band-Aid. And once you're both on the same page and everything's out in the open, then you can come up with a plan together to pay off that debt. And really think of it as an opportunity to work as a team, leveraging on each other's strengths and abilities. It's better to know this information before you share your life as a married couple. And of course, to be brutally honest, that's my kind of style, is that, there is a possibility your partner might leave you after they find this information about you. Especially if you have major debt. But maybe that will be a trigger point for you to get your finances in order, and really start your slate clean. If they do unfortunately leave you, then that's also kind of like hitting rock bottom, and the only way to come up from rock bottom is to rise up. So ultimately, it's you find out more about each other, and during the process, it's something whether if it's gonna make or break your relationship, then it's gonna make or break your marriage. Talking about money, the 3 B's: bills, bank accounts, and budget. Bills. Cue Destiny's Child for those who are millennials. So I would suggest you each create a list of all the bills that you're currently paying, and rent, mortgage, groceries, phone, internet, cable, your subscriptions like Netflix and Spotify, or your memberships like Costco, the gym, any sort of insurance that you have, car insurance, life insurance, home insurance, your fees like strata condo fees, or parking monthly passes that you have. So like really both of you can create a list of all the bills that you pay. And this is also kind of a fun part, because then you both see your bills, and then once knowing, what your bills are, then you're like, well, some of these things can cancel out once we live together or move in together or buy a place together. We can share the rent, share the groceries, share these things. And then once you're married, you can kind of divvy up who pays for what. You can do it like half equal, or you can do 40-60, or whatever your heart's content for bills. Bank accounts. Okay, so now you have to determine what kind of structure you want. Like, how are you going to pay the bills? You want a joint account? Do you want individual accounts? You want to do both, like a joint account for, the things that are shared, and then you keep your individual accounts, or just everything's, to determine that. Have that conversation. And then also think about if you're trying to save for a big purchase together, like a house or a vacation. How's that going to work? You want a joint account to have that, or a separate account? Maybe it's an emergency fund. Like if one of you unfortunately loses their job, like is there an emergency fund that you both contribute to in case? And then how much are each of you going to put into this account? And is it dependent on your income? Like if someone makes a lot more, are they required to put a lot more into this account than the person who makes less? Who's responsible for what? Like one person might be better at paying bills. Like they're just more on time and they're more like organized in that way. And they just take the entire responsibility of paying the bills. And then, or one person might be better looking at deals, cost saving strategies. Like they love contacting their cable companies and negotiating deals. They love, being the one that talks to their landlord to negotiate on rent or whatever. Like whoever is better at those things, talk about it and then assign those responsibilities. The third B is budget. Okay, now it's time to look at the money coming in from both of you and how much you're spending, and try to do it over the previous year. And so it can be done, individually, how much you spent and how much you earned in a year, and then the other person can do it, or you can do it as a thing together. Is there anything left over? Budgeting. Is there anything non-essential that you can kind of cut back? In terms of your savings, is it enough? And talking about investments, like if you got a little bit of money left over together, do you guys want to invest in something? If you guys are, if you're into big weddings, planning for a wedding is a great exercise to go through, because it tests how you work as a team, and then also how to keep a budget, or create a budget, keep it, and spend, be able to maintain that. I think with the 3 B's, bills, bank accounts, and budget, at the end of the day, it's about trust. It's about having transparency with one another on money, and really those raw, open, and honest conversations, so that when you do get married, things don't just, come out of the blue like that about those skeletons in the closet.